Eclipse season wraps up with the life-changing solar eclipse in Aries on Saturday, March 29th. This eclipse both completes the karmic chapter started 2 years ago, as well as ushers forward unique and exciting new beginnings. Will we know what's going to happen? Probably not exactly, but it will for sure not going to be boring. Let's dive in. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer working in whole sign house system with tropical zodiac. If you enjoy my work, please take a few seconds to leave me a like, a comment, subscribe, press the notification bell. You can also watch more of my content. That is how the algorithm of YouTube knows to send more viewers my way. It helps me grow. Additionally, there's a way to say thank you by buying me a tea, a coffee, some other kind of gift. I appreciate all of you who does that. Before we dive in, a major announcement. I am teaching a natal astrology course. It is titled Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul. Come join me. You can find out more about astrology, learn about the intricate connections between yourself and other people, as well as heal the parts of yourself that feel tender and unattended to. Astrology changed my life, and if you take this class, it will change yours. If you're looking for additional guidance, you can book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. There's a variety of options, more general readings, predictive readings, relationship consultations, and a few durations to fit any person's needs. And on my website, you can find a variety of products I create. There are paper products like my 2025 planner and notebooks, as well as the candles and oils I create by carefully electing the time and ingredients that are aligned with the moment. In this video, I'd like to highlight my beautiful Fire of Aries candle. We're talking about an Aries eclipse, perfect for new beginnings. This candle captures the moon conjunct Jupiter in Aries, which is really great for leading. It's very inspired. It's very courageous and lucky energy. Highly recommend this for anyone who maybe struggles with motivation a little bit, or struggles coming up with ideas, or lacks in courage, right? If you feel like you could use a little bit more. Especially great for anyone with their sun in the dark house. If your sun is in the 6th, 8th, or 12th houses, if you are a Libra or an Aquarius, you tend to really be good as a team player, but sometimes it may be harder for you to like assert yourself as a leader. And you know, any content creator, any writer, any creative individual, this is the choice for you. So thank you for listening. I'm super excited about teaching my first astrology course. Many of you have told me that I convey astrology in an easy to understand language, so I figured it's time to bring it into existence and actually teach a course. So this solar eclipse, it happens at 6:48 a.m. Eastern on Saturday, March 29th at 8 degrees 53 minutes Aries, which means it's going to affect you the most if you have planets within 3 degrees of the eclipse, right? Usually I give 3 degrees. You can give wider orbs if you have important planets in these signs in general, but I would say between 5 and 12 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. Eclipses are major turning points. They occur next to north or south node, and they carry within sort of, they bring this energy of crossroads. A lot of times when we are in the midst of the eclipse season, we may not fully understand what it's here to teach us. But trust me, it is here to teach you something. And sometimes it takes a few weeks, right? 2-3 weeks to maybe see the results of the eclipse. Sometimes it takes a few months. But one thing is for sure, they bring karmic new beginnings and karmic endings. And this is a solar eclipse, so it's like a new moon. It's a major new beginning on steroids, right? What is interesting about this eclipse is that it's the third part of the 3-part storyline. We had 2 other solar eclipses in Aries. What's interesting to me is that throughout the Aries North Node, Libra South Node period that got started in July 2023, we've never had a lunar eclipse in Aries. And I think it's so appropriate because Aries is the first zodiac sign. So it's all about new beginnings, right? And in the future coming up, we're only having lunar eclipses in Pisces, and Pisces is the last zodiac sign. So there is like a cosmic alignment between what we know about these zodiac signs. So it's a part 3, so it's the final part in the 3-part story. The first eclipse in Aries happened on April 20th, 2023. Then we had another eclipse on April 8th, 2024. And this is our final chapter. How has your life changed in the last 2 years? Did anything happen in April last year? The overall storyline we have been in was the South Node in Libra, releasing people pleasing, releasing shallowness, and maybe being too kind of diplomatic to your own detriment, and choosing independence, choosing courage, choosing leadership, speaking your mind, taking risks, severing things that are unhealthy, potentially in relationships, or building relationships that have the foundation of independence. So how has this shown up in your life? I would really, really love to know. Some of the important things to know about this eclipse, besides the things I have already mentioned, is that it is a North Node eclipse. Even though it's out of sign, the nodes have shifted into Pisces and Virgo in January 2025. But when the eclipse, even if it's in a different sign, if it occurs close to the North Node, as it is in this case, it is still considered an eclipse in that sign, even with North Node in a different sign. So North Node has the hungry energy. It is driven to create tangible things. It wants material success. It wants to achieve tangible results, right? So the ruler of the eclipse is Mars in Cancer, and that complicates things a little bit. Because ruler is Mars in its fall, and sometimes there could be a suggestion of like being too emotional and too subjective around the time of this eclipse, and maybe making decisions out of that knee-jerk reaction. So be careful and make sure that if you are cutting off a connection, it's because it's based on, you know, the inner feeling and something you've been considering for a while, instead of just like, ooh, they irritate me, or they put socks in the wrong drawer, or whatever. At the same time, Mars has just finished its retrograde about a month ago. We have learned a lot. We have connected with our hearts and discovered interests that drive us and motivate us. So this courageous new beginning that solar eclipse in Aries represents, the opportunities for personal growth, they are tightly connected to what's happening in your heart and what you truly desire. So, you know, we have been in this, the beginning of the year is full of retrogrades, right? Currently, Venus is retrograding, Mercury is retrograding. It's just a whole retrograde parade. And as we are adjusting and pivoting and asking important questions, it's important to remember what is truly, truly important to you. So this eclipse has potential to bring up questions around feelings, questions around home, family, maybe opportunity to let go of toxic patterns and connect with your own independence. For some of us, it might be separating yourself from challenging events of your childhood, right? Seeing them as experiences and not as stamps or verdicts or very difficult ways of being currently. Your past does not define your future. There may be questions around parenthood that are getting addressed, living situation, family, considering Cancer deals with all of those. Simultaneously, we also have Mercury and Venus retrograde, as mentioned, so it is the time of readjustment. And maybe as the new information becomes available about our relationships, careers, pursuits, we are called to make different choices. I like that the eclipse sextiles Jupiter, which suggests opportunities for personal growth, optimism, hopefulness as we look towards the future. There are opportunities to travel, study, teach, and expand your life through some type of wise pursuits. And in general, this is a major eclipse for leadership and courage and self-expression on many levels. It can lead you to start new projects. It can encourage you to take action. It can encourage you to take risks. Let's say you've always been thinking about starting a YouTube channel but doubting yourself, and you decide to do it, or you reach out to other people and ask them for help. There might be this urgent need to take action and achieve your desires. I would urge you against manifesting. Eclipses are not the times to manifest. They are the times the karmic wheel is turning and karma and universe decides what's coming up for you based on the previous actions you have made. I would recommend that you trust the universe and let things happen. The North Node is in Pisces, the sign of imagination, dreams, rest, spirituality. So believe that the universe has your back. Do not force things, and if you are feeling overwhelmed, confused, lean into self-care, take a bath, light a candle, go for a walk, and meditate. All of those can be great things. You can check out my videos I posted in the past on the North Node entering Aries to see what the overall themes has been. And please do let me know, what have you noticed in the last 2 years? Have you discovered that inner power, that inner courage that maybe you've expressed? Maybe you've taken some risks. Maybe you've gotten closer to your dreams. Maybe you've asked the person you've always wanted to ask out on a date. Please share in the comments, and let's take a look at the 12 rising signs to give you horoscopes to see what might be coming up for you. Just a reminder, sign up for my Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course. It's a 3-month-long class that will introduce you to the more basic as well as more complicated, serious concepts of astrology, given in an easy to understand language, helping you interpret connections within yourself and connections with other people. You can sign up at anastasiadoesastrology.com. The class is in the services tab, as well as on the main page. So if you are an Aries rising, there's a solar eclipse in your first house, with the ruler being Mars in the 4th. How has your life, your health, your identity changed in the last 2 years? Let me know in the comments below. We started having eclipses in Aries in April 2023. We had another one in April 2024, and this is the last one. And chances are you have discovered a new version of yourself. You have maybe changed your look. Maybe you changed your job. Maybe you've changed your role in your family or in the collective. You could have found opportunities to be a leader, to lead others, to become a manager, right? Or a healer or a guide or a mentor for other people. Maybe you've just started feeling a pull for something new and haven't quite acted on it yet. So this eclipse is the chance for you to connect with that spark, with that fire within, and get close to manifesting it. The ruler of the eclipse is Mars in Cancer in your 4th house. And this could be the time you are connecting with your true desires, asking yourself what makes you feel secure and happy and comfortable within yourself. There is a sextile to Jupiter in your 3rd house, and the changes that you're going through may be connected with learning a new language or moving or starting a business as well, or maybe even some kind of changes in your relationships where you're welcoming new connections and maybe starting to teach yoga in your local community. Simultaneously, Mercury and Venus are retrograde at the time of this eclipse, moving from your 1st into the 12th houses. So I think as you are gearing up for new beginnings, the question stands on what you still have to release. And for some of you, it could be about healing the past. For others, it might be about letting go of an old job, paying your karmic debts, maybe saying goodbye to a toxic connection that has been weighing heavy on your mind. But do reflect back on the last 2 years, because a lot has changed during that time. For more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com and sign up for my Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course on there. It begins in May, and it can help you understand yourself and get closer to people in your life. If you are a beautiful Taurus rising, there is a solar eclipse in your 12th house ruled by Mars in the 3rd. How has your life changed in the last 2 years? We had the first eclipse in Aries in April 2023, another one a year later, and this is the last one. With the North Node in your 12th house and South Node in the 6th, your professional life could have changed. You could have shifted from working a 9-to-5 job, sitting in the office, to being out in the field, to traveling, to having maybe a creative career or unorthodox work hours. So around the time of this eclipse, this energy continues, and there may be an opportunity to pivot, adjust, transform something. You're maybe figuring out anything that's standing in your way and letting that go, because 12th house is the spiritual place. It's the house of mental health. It's the house of blockages and hidden enemies. Most of the times we are our own hidden enemy. And with the ruler being Mars in the 3rd house, your enemy must be your own thinking, your own self-doubt, the way you talk to yourself, the way maybe you're being too critical of yourself. With Mercury and Venus retrograding from your 12th into the 11th houses, similar energy. What needs to be released for you to get closer to your dreams, as well as I can see this as you getting in touch with your hidden interests. For some of you, you're maybe remembering that you've always loved writing and you're starting to write again. For others, there may be a chance to heal and give back to your community in some other way, potentially. So both about releasing something, maybe getting in touch with your truth, and welcoming new beginnings that are of spiritual, imaginative kind. With the eclipse sextiling Jupiter in the 2nd house, it also feels like you're either focusing on getting in touch with your true values, or you're choosing pursuits, you're choosing pursuits that are lucrative and can be financially beneficial. Please share what you remember, what your thoughts are in the last 2 years to wrap up this eclipse series. And if you're looking for more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can book a reading on there, or you can sign up for my Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course and come study astrology with me. It begins in May. For the beautiful Gemini rising, there is a solar eclipse in your 11th house with the ruler Mars in the 2nd house. How has your life, your friendships, your hopes and dreams, and maybe your social media life, your social life changed in the last 2 years? We've had eclipses in Aries every year, starting in April 2023, April 2024, and this is the last one. And chances are you may have experienced a sense of readjustment in terms of what brings you pleasure, what brings you joy. You may have noticed that old things no longer satisfy, and new pursuits that involve community, social media, healing, teaching, guiding feel more aligned with you. So this eclipse continues along the same lines, right? It is calling you to connect with your dreams, to connect with allies, and maybe even reach out to people you once used to know or you once were close with, because simultaneously at the time of this eclipse we have Mercury and Venus retrograding from your 11th and into the 10th house. So you are reviewing your progress and you are considering reaching out to people that can be helpful. It could be a great time for venturing on social media, for starting a YouTube channel. Of course, you know, with 2 planets being retrograde, you're maybe thinking of those things, but not necessarily acting yet. It could be a great time to connect with other people, as mentioned, as well as show up as a leader and ask yourself, if you feel a little stuck, right? Like, ask yourself, what can you do for your community? How can your gifts shine the most to make the world a better place? And perhaps operating from the perspective of trying to make the world better and trying to improve the conditions of the lives of your friends. Like, what can you offer, right? Maybe maybe you're a YouTube expert because you've watched so many videos, or you read a lot and you have a lot to share and you always give people advice. Why not start a YouTube channel and talk about it? So opportunities to start a new journey, follow your dreams, commit to a project that maybe has its root in 2023 is highly likely here. And with the eclipse sextiling Jupiter in your first house, there's once again this energy of you reinventing yourself, you showing up as a teacher, a guide, mentor, guru in whatever chosen field you decide to do it. For more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com and sign up for my Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course to understand yourself, your natal chart, and build better relationships with people in your life. All of that is at anastasiadoesastrology.com. For the lovely Cancer rising, there's a solar eclipse in the 10th house of career, status, and reputation, with the ruler Mars being in the first house. So this is a big one. The first eclipse in your 10th house happened in April 2023. We had another one in April 2024, and this is the last one. How has your professional life changed? What new dreams were introduced? What new passions you have discovered? What kind of risks have you taken or thought about taking? Because North Node has been in your 10th house since July 2023, and it just left in January 2025. And we now have North Node in the 9th house. And so you have been encouraged to connect with the fire within and to take risks and to become a leader, to become a guide, to become a source of insight and knowledge for other people, especially as now we're going into North Node in the 9th house and 9th house eclipses. And so this eclipse offers you a chance to rethink, readjust, maybe transform something. We have Mercury and Venus, both retrograde, moving from your 10th into the 9th houses. And you're looking at your career and you're wondering whether you are in the right place. Or you're maybe wondering whether your current job reflects your beliefs and your guiding principles. Or you are thinking that you need to study a little bit more. Maybe you're thinking about relocating so you can get the education you want or connect with people that are more aligned with you. Maybe you're thinking of teaching, right? There is a variety of possibilities, but one thing is for sure, there is this strong pull for new beginnings in your professional life. And these new beginnings are very likely to include relocation, healing work, education, travel, even writing or publishing your work, becoming more visible on some level. I'd love to know, how has the last 2 years how did they change your life? If you're looking for more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com. On there, you can book a personal consultation or sign up for my Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course, where you can learn to read the natal charts and understand the intricate connections between yourself and others. For the beautiful and shiny Leo rising, there's a solar eclipse in your 9th house. The final solar eclipse in the 9th. How exciting. How has your life changed in the last 2 years? We've had the first eclipse in April 2023, the second in April 2024, and this is the finisher, the final eclipse. What has happened in the realm of education, travel, writing, publishing, legal matters, right? Maybe some of you relocated. Maybe some of you started working in education or gone back to school or met a foreign connection or started writing, right? There could have been a lot of possibilities. And so this eclipse continues along the same trajectory. It urges you to connect with your true desires, your true feelings. Let's say in April 2023, you got a desire to move. And then in April 2024, or like around, give it a couple of months on each side, you moved. And now with this eclipse, you decide that you want to travel back, or you decide to extend. Maybe you move to teach English to Spanish people. This may or may not be based on the person I know. And maybe now you decide to stay. You decide to extend your trip. Or you started working in education and now you're asking for a raise, you're sort of making things more official, or you came up with an idea, started writing a year later, and now you're ready to publish it. With Mercury and Venus both retrograding, moving from your 9th into the 8th houses, there's definitely this sense of reviewing things, maybe needing to pay off some debts, maybe needing to re-edit some of your work, maybe needing to clarify financial matters and clarify your alliances and agreements. But it is a powerful eclipse, I think, for opening yourself up to higher knowledge, to new possibilities for traveling, writing, and a lot of sort of like philosophical things. There is also a sextile to Jupiter in the 11th house. And Jupiter in the 11th is urging you to connect with your community and to do work that is of service to other people. So you're not just expanding your life for the sake of adventure, but you also have a purpose at hand in mind. Maybe you're thinking of becoming a life coach or starting a YouTube channel that educates people about medicine or pharmaceuticals or something like that. I'd love to hear from you, and if you're looking for more, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can book a reading on there, and you can sign up for my natal astrology course that begins in May and lasts for 3 months. For the beautiful Virgo rising, there's a solar eclipse in your 8th house with Mars as the ruler in the 11th house. So we've been having eclipses in Aries since April 2023. There was another one in April 2024, and this is the final completion of that storyline eclipse. How has your life changed? How has your finances, relationships, maybe fears and vulnerabilities, how has all of that transformed in the last couple of years? This eclipse continues along the same lines, right? And chances are it urges you to go in the direction of relationships and partnerships. And there might be an opportunity to assert yourself and speak up, right? And say something like, this is not right, I don't like this. Maybe you're working in a group, maybe you're dealing with a friend or a partner, and this eclipse might be your opportunity to continue a relationship, but bring more authenticity and clarity into it by speaking up. Mercury and Venus are both retrograding from your 8th into the 7th. So if anything doesn't feel fair, if anything feels like you're being taken advantage, or you're worrying about, let's say you're getting married and you're worried about finances of your partner, for example, this could be an opportunity to talk about it. You may also be paying off debts. Maybe in 2023, you took out a loan and now you're getting ready to close that loan and find more stability financially. 8th house is also the place of healing. And so on a different level, this could be the time when you understand yourself better, maybe let go of some old wounds, process some traumatic events. I like that the eclipse sextiles Jupiter in the 10th, and even the fact that it's ruled by Mars in the 11th feels like you're, once again, I'm sort of thinking like you're either clearing debts and cutting fears and doubts and loans and sort of anything that drags you down, you're maybe letting that go, or you're welcoming new beginnings and like a new relationship, a marriage. Maybe you're letting your partner support you and being more honest, because the eclipse in the 8th house can also encourage you to be more trusting, more vulnerable. Dear Virgo risings, I know how much you love learning, so please sign up for my astrology course, Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul. It begins in May, it lasts 3 months, and it will give you in-depth knowledge of natal charts, will help you heal any wounds you have and better connect with yourself and others. Find it at anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can also book a reading on there. Your turn, beautiful Libra risings. The solar eclipse highlights your 7th house of relationships and partnerships, bringing major new beginnings here. And the ruler is Mars on the 10th, so there's a lot of focus on your professional life and professional development. So how has your relationship life, how have your partnerships, maybe even the life of your partner changed since April 2023? We've had 2 eclipses in Aries prior to this one in April 2023, one in April 2024, and this is the finishing one, right? So opportunities for change in relationships. If you feel unhappy with where you are, if you feel like the relationship is not right for you, it may end. But it's most likely that you already know, right? Don't get scared if everything is fine and everything feels good. It's not necessarily, the eclipses take away things that are built on the spoiled, rotten foundation. So ending a partnership, both romantic or professional, is a possibility here, as well as starting a new relationship. The ruler is Mars on the 10th, so I think for many of you it will be about your career and maybe a chance to start a partnership that allows you more freedom, more independence, start a new relationship, professional or personal, that allows you more freedom and independence. Because as codependent you can be, Libra risings, your descendant is an Aries, so you attract people that are independent, that are brave, that are unafraid of conflict, so that they can teach you that. So on some level, through your relationships in the last 2 years, you have been finding your voice and your fighting spirit and speaking up. And take it as relationships of all kinds. Doesn't have to be only romantic. Once again, the ruler is Mars in the 10th. It sextiles Jupiter in the 9th, so it could be professional relationships, business partnerships, but it could definitely be like a new romantic possibility. So finding more independence, maybe letting go of connections or contracts and agreements that are unfair, that do not give you your full voice and ability to shine, and welcoming new partnerships and new agreements, potentially professionally. Maybe opportunities that involve travel, education, writing, legal matters, publishing. We have 2 retrogrades happening simultaneously at the time of this eclipse, with Mercury and Venus moving from your 7th into the 6th. So I am thinking that you're in need. You need to talk about things. You need to address things that are uncomfortable. Sometimes it can be connected to health. It can be connected to your work conditions, your hours, your health matters, right? Things that don't feel right. Maybe it's the mundane laundry, grocery, cleaning things in the relationship that you're not discussing that need to be addressed. But it's a very exciting opportunity, I think, to bring more alignment and passion into your life through your relationships via not being afraid of being honest. I would urge you to be honest, but also be kind. It is quite helpful that on the day of the eclipse, Mercury is moving into Pisces, so hopefully it helps us speak with sensitivity and compassion. To book a reading, visit Anastasia.astrology.com and sign up for my Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course. It begins in May, lasts 3 months, and we will cover everything from the foundations of the chart to deeper elements like rulerships, dignity, synodic cycles of the planets, and more. It's a great opportunity. I'm excited, and you should be too. I hope to see you there. For the beautiful Scorpio rising, there's a solar eclipse in your 6th house with the ruler Mars in the 9th. How has your professional life changed in the last 2 years? Have you changed jobs? Have you discovered any passions? Have you maybe found yourself exercising more or studying yoga or wanting to be a healer, maybe a guide, teaching people how to do anything from like health related matters to helping them plan their wedding, maybe, right? The North Node has been in your 6th house. We've had eclipses here in April 2023 and April 2024, and all of that is potentially has been very energizing and very encouraging of you encouraging you to take risks and put yourself in a position of a healer, maybe change your job. And so similarly, this eclipse, this final eclipse in Aries, is encouraging you to follow your dreams, right? You're maybe questioning your dreams as Mercury and Venus are retrograding at the time of the eclipse from your 6th into the 5th houses. You're maybe wondering how you can marry your job with your relationship or with being a parent. How can you achieve sort of bliss here and there? It's so fascinating that the day after this eclipse, Neptune is entering your 6th house. So there's so much focus on serving other people, healing of self and others, nutrition, diet, exercise. With the ruler being Mars in the 9th, I'm wondering if you're learning something to improve your health, or once again, maybe you're traveling to a different country to get your yoga teacher training, to be a yoga teacher, or you're upgrading your career by going to school. There is a sextile to Jupiter in the 8th, which is also very healing and relationship oriented. So opportunities to, I think, rethink your everyday life, from your work to your schedule to your habits, is highlighted here. Yeah, let me know what happened in the last 2 years. How have things in this area changed? And for more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com. On there, you can book a reading and you can sign up for my Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course. I know how much you guys love learning and how curious you are and how you want to know everything. So this course is perfect for you, as it offers knowledge that is also very healing and helpful for self-understanding as well as understanding of others. For the lovely Sagittarius risings, the solar eclipse is happening in the 5th house, with the ruler being Mars in the 8th. How has your romantic life changed in the last 2 years? What kind of hobbies have you discovered? What kind of passions have you connected with? What was happening in the lives of your children? Have you become a parent in the last 2 years? We've had the first eclipse in Aries in April 2023, the middle one in April 2024, and this is our final eclipse. And these series of the eclipses were all about you connecting with the fire within, you honoring your passions, you pursuing your interests. And I've seen this just from, clients and friends show up in so many different ways. People freezing eggs because they want to be parents, people getting boob jabs because they want a bigger boob, just one, because they want bigger boobs. People discovering that they want to do music for a living, or that they want to be a hiking instructor for a living. The 5th house is very, very subjective, right? So with this eclipse, there is a bit of ambivalence with Mercury and Venus retrograding from the 5th into the 4th houses. You're maybe wondering what makes you happy, what brings you joy. You may be looking back at what used to bring you joy when you were younger. You may be moving for the sake of being happy. There may be important developments in your romantic relationship, right? The ruler is Mars in the 8th, which is all about partners, finances, shared resources, and it sextiles Jupiter in the 7th. So some major developments in the life of your partner, in the life of your child. In terms of being a parent, some of you may get pregnant or give birth around this time. Maybe you've had a child in the last 2 years, and this eclipse is your opportunity to rethink your life and maybe, try to figure out how you can have joy while also being a good parent, right? Trying to find a good balance here. But it is encouraging of honest communication, of maybe discussing things, figuring out how to make things fair and good for everyone without forgetting yourself. I wonder with Mars in the 8th house too, like, you know, for some of you, it might be about like a relationship ending and you venturing into like the freedom of maybe independence and starting sort of to date again, maybe. But that's only if you're already in the process of it, because you would know by now. For more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com, book a reading on there, and sign up for my astrology course titled Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul. It's a 3 months long course. We'll meet twice a week, lectures on Saturdays, discussions on Tuesdays. You can follow at your own pace by watching the recorded readings, and it can be eye-opening and very healing both for you and for your relationships, because it never hurts to know yourself and people in your life better. For the beautiful Capricorn rising, there is a solar eclipse in your 4th house. How exciting. So we've been having eclipses in Aries since April 2023. That was the first one. April 2024 was the second one, and this is the final one. And it is completing that storyline, but it's also beginning a new storyline, because the next day after this eclipse, Neptune goes into Aries, which is a major, major development. And then Saturn goes here in May. So we will continue. The storyline will continue. But how has your home life changed? How has your living situation changed? How has your, like family relationships, home, living situation, real estate situation, maybe family business? This eclipse offers you a chance to become more independent, maybe to speak up about things that don't feel right. It does coincide with Mercury and Venus retrograding from the 4th into the 3rd houses. So you're making adjustments, right? You're maybe literally redesigning, rebuilding, redecorating, talking to your landlord about fixing your home, or you're dealing with some kind of family situation that involves siblings, that involves aunts, uncles, parents, and trying to create more freedom on some level, right? I think in the last couple of years with the North Node and eclipses in your 4th house, you may have discovered more courage, you maybe felt more outspoken, you maybe even like moved to your own place. And so this eclipse suggests that there is a need to put some finishing touches to that chapter, right? Or prepare for something new. Maybe you are welcoming a child soon, or you're moving in with your significant other. The ruler of the eclipse is Mars in the 7th house of relationships. Maybe you're having your partner move in with you. There's definitely some kind of adjustments, and it's important that you don't lose sight of your true needs in the process, and that you don't forget to express things. Watch out for self-sacrifice here, because there is a sextile to Jupiter in the 6th, and you might find yourself in a position of serving other people, taking care of other people, which is perfectly great and lovely, unless it's at your own disadvantage, right? Unless you're sacrificing your well-being in the process. For more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com and book your reading today. Please also check out my classes. I am running a course. I'm teaching a course titled Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul. It's a 3 months long course during which we will learn everything about planets, signs, houses, aspects, dignity, synodic cycles of the planets, retrogradation, and so much more. It will be a blast. So sign up today. The link is in the description. If you are the beautiful Aquarius rising, there's a solar eclipse in your 3rd house with the ruler Mars in the 6th. So how has your everyday life changed in the last 2 years? How have your relationships with siblings and neighbors changed? Have you noticed that you started to speak up more, that maybe you've dealt with conflict and asserted yourself and expressed what you truly want? Have you maybe expressed yourself professionally? North Node has been in Aries since July 2023. It left in January 2025, but this eclipse still picks up that energy and carries it over into the first half of 2025. But it is urging you to have some honest conversations, to maybe figure out what in your immediate relationships doesn't serve you. We have Mercury and Venus retrograding at the time of this eclipse, moving from the 3rd into the 2nd. So you're maybe looking at your everyday life, your schedule, your technology, your social engagements, and wondering which ones are good and life affirming and exciting and energizing, and which ones are draining and unhealthy and sort of make you feel blah. Blah. So the eclipse in the 3rd house could offer you a chance to say something that needs to be said. Maybe you're asking for a raise. Maybe you're addressing a conflict with a sibling. Maybe you're talking to a neighbor that's trying to take advantage of you, and you are, you're setting the record straight. The ruler is Mars in the 6th house, so it definitely has like work vibes here, or maybe like health, once again, sort of service to other people, needing to set some better boundaries with people that are trying to take advantage of you. The solar eclipse in the 3rd house can also be about your local community, maybe your buildings board or your local granola loving, what are they called, like health loving people, and maybe you're starting a small business and you're starting to sell granola, or you're becoming a yoga teacher, or you are somehow getting involved with the community and finding your voice and becoming a leader. There's a sextile to Jupiter in the 5th, so it does feel like getting in touch with your passions and bringing them to reality, into the real life. I'd love to know, how have your life changed in the last 2 years? If you're looking for personal guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com to book your reading today. On there, you can also sign up for my course, Natal Astrology, Blueprint of the Soul. I am teaching it from May into July. It's a 3-month-long course dedicated to understanding your natal chart and building better relationships with yourself and others. For the beautiful and lovely Pisces rising, the solar eclipse is highlighting your 2nd house, and the ruler is Mars in the 5th. This eclipse has a very strong energy dedicated to finding pleasure, and it also has a very strong energy connected to starting a family, potentially. So first of all, we've been having eclipses in Aries since April 2023. The 2nd eclipse happened in April 2024. This is the last one. How has your financial situation changed? Have you found a new job? Have you paid off some debts? Have you maybe acquired some debts that you're now trying to pay off? Have you discovered new priorities for yourself? So this solar eclipse is encouraging you to connect with your true values, right? And to express them. And the values may relate to being a parent. They may relate to dating, right? So I wonder, I feel like over here you're like either called to spend money on something that will bring you closer to your dreams, or that will bring you closer to being a parent, or closer to dating. Like maybe you're signing up for the gym, for a gym. Mercury and Venus are both retrograding from your 2nd to the 1st house. So there is like a strong focus on your body, on your identity, and maybe like needing to invest some money into yourself. But there's also a sextile to Jupiter in the 4th, and the ruler is Mars in the 5th. So for those of you that want to start a relationship or become a parent, or maybe start a creative project, there's also an opportunity to like invest into that, or clear any debts, maybe set some money aside for the future. Yeah, what have you learned in terms of finances and values, and what other changes do you need to make? Like what where do you need to pay off debts? Where do you need to consult a financial advisor? Where do you need to start saving for the rainy day? Let's not forget that Neptune and Saturn are both coming into your 2nd house in a little bit. Neptune the day after the eclipse, Saturn in a couple of months, and you will need to have good financial hygiene for sure, because Saturn may suggests that the money is not as available because maybe you are buying a home or you're having a child. So there might be some kind of like restrictions and maybe slower money flow or less money just like on offer. So be ready for that and try to, figure out how to best manage your finances, and start with asking yourself what your priorities are. And don't hesitate to also like talk to your partner about money, so that you don't find yourself in a weird situation that you have not discussed. For more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com, book a reading on there, and sign up for my Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course. It begins in May, and it will teach you to understand the intricate connections between yourself and others, read natal chart if you're trying to become a professional astrologer, or give advice to yourself and others, even if you're not trying to become one. You will still understand astrology. I will teach it in an easy and comprehensible language. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you being with me here. If you're still here and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so right now. I hope your March has been well so far. It's been, it's been retrograde-y all over the place. We have a lot of shifts this year, and March is definitely the month it all begins. The tectonic shifts are starting to happen. So I'd love to hear from you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.